So welcome to the session about RISE with SAP. You might wondering why do we talk about RISE, where we have all these nice sexy topics about digitalization, AI right next around us. To be honest, it's a very important topic because it's currently a pressure point for everybody who is using SAP. So that's why we thought we will give you an insight of how Deutsche Telekom tackles this kind of problem and what kind of pivotal role T-Systems and our new RISE offering around the German private cloud is playing into this construct. So my name is Frank Starkenberg. I'm heading the global SAP business here at T-Systems, and of course I brought the most important person now, which is our client, Jo. Maybe give a quick introduction about the setup of DTIT, your role and the challenges.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. So my name is Jo. I'm originally from the Netherlands, but I work in Deutsche Telekom IT. Deutsche Telekom IT is the internal IT service provider within the DT group. And just to give you a bit of a flavor how big that is, it's around 1.6 billion euros that we spend on an annual basis for IT solutions. And yes, it's like McDonald's. We find SAP systems around the corner. So every system we touch with our IT development, we also have to touch the SAP system. That's why RISE became such an important topic for us end of 2023.
Yes.
Okay, we briefly touch on what RISE is.
All right, okay. Sure, I guess so everybody who's joining this session has a certain idea what RISE with SAP is, this high level. So just quick recap to set the scene. So overall, normally SAP starts to sell licenses and maintenance. It was a core business, and now they decided just to put a new offering on the market, which they call RISE with SAP. And we all know this nice IT layer stack here from our times of university, from infrastructure, data operating system, up to the software components. And now SAP started to bundle all this stuff and offering this as a kind of cloud ERP SaaS experience in a subscription model to our clients. The only issue is sometimes it turns a bit from offering to you should, you must kind of discussion with clients. So we thought a little bit, how can we make this maybe not so nice topic a little bit more digestible here to this topic? And when I was always looking here on this kind of presentation, it was always just coming to my mind, right? So we will now have a look on the different ingredients of the RISE burger here during the presentation, and then hope that this topic will be a little bit more digestible for you and makes a little bit more appetite for more. So in a nutshell, so SAP is offering now RISE burgers, and we are the ones who are manufacturing one of these most components of SAP RISE for our clients. So far so good, but the only issue is, so if I go to McDonald's, I do not only order burger, so a perfect meal doesn't look totally different. And now, for a burger, you always have to start first, you need to have the right ingredients, right? You have the right ingredients, the right quality, you have the manufacturing right here in this topic. And you need, of course, a good barbecuer or the cook who is now manufacturing all these RISE burgers for you. Just to spoil this, sneak preview, too many cooks in this time. You may know what the cooks are in this one. Do not spoil the broth. It will be now a perfect meal which we are trying to create for our clients. But as said, the burger itself, so what RISE is offering is often for our clients not enough. So look on the perfect meal. Normally most of our clients have specific services around SAP which is not part of RISE. So they request certain additional services here, specific option you will elaborate on, which is now here reflected maybe here with the chips here on this one, which you cannot order at SAP currently fully. Or you might decide not to put all your systems in RISE, which is now here the code. So what are you doing with this one? Now your SAP landscape gets totally tiered apart in how your management concept and SLAs will be organized. So what are you doing with this one? And the problem is even getting bigger, because Waldorf always thinks it's only SAP, so the world is only SAP, but a lot of you have non-SAP systems in your area as well, which you need to organize. What does this mean in terms of a RISE contract? Just to spoil a little bit, so even if you have SAP-related enclosed systems, which are in end-to-end SAP process, a print server, an archive, output management, or even a small web server is not part of RISE anymore. You need to find a solution. So what are you going to do? You need to create the perfect menu, and we have now created this here now with the watermelon. You need to somebody who is putting the whole menu for you together to be able in a complex environment to deliver RISE successfully. So this is set up. So you, in the end, maybe give us a quick story about what have you been ordering at SAP during those days and what did you already get?
Yeah, so we started to look into the RISE offering already back in 2021. At that time, it was, in our eyes, more of a small and medium enterprise solution, and it didn't really fit our requirements. And the way we looked at the meal that was offered, or the burger that was offered, was that it was missing some ingredients, and it didn't look as if it was cooked to the gourmet standard, so to say. And taking that into consideration, we thought that, of course, and that's always a discussion around SAP, our pricing levels were not how we saw them fit. And it was a take it or leave it kind of offering, which didn't really fit our process going forward. But more fundamentally, next to this evergreen discussion, we had a massive issue around our data security. So as a telco, we have some data that are classified on a more secure environment, also included in our landscape, and therefore we needed a solution that would cater for that security. That was not available in the burger that was presented to us. And the other item is we were very accustomed to having a end-to-end operating model. So we were doing our SAP application operations, maintenance and development in sort of a one closed environment. And talking about the RISE offering at that time, we still had a feeling that it wouldn't fit for that offering to what we needed. Because if you looked at it, application operations was only available in the RISE atmosphere to be provided by a partner which didn't know any of our landscape, didn't have grown up with the landscape, and didn't fit our way going forward. So that's when we started looking into a rejuvenation of that process, and so end of last year we got a revised offering.
So you can expect that we faced a lot of resistance now to bring this topic up on the agenda as well. But what has now changed? So the first thing is, the first learning is you don't need to have to eat everything which SAP is serving you. So this is the first learning. So there is some more flexibility which you can get. So the first thing is, if you order a typical RISE, it's a package option here in this topic. And this is kind of t-shirt size modeling. So you can tick mark a little bit what you like in terms of service catalog items here in this topic. But it will be only they are taking full user equivalents and then they put you into a box, size and infrastructure kind of thing. And this is a kind of repeatable go-to-market, really speed for a lot of clients, just as a slice and dice topic. So you can order maybe a small burger, a mid-sized burger, or a big burger, but you can't really change the idea or the essence of this burger here in this configuration. And it is, in your case, it's just hyperscaler only, and a lot of clients do not fit into this kind of category. So now what has been added now is a more flexible model here, which they call the SAP tailored option. Whereas here, the operation is fixed on hyperscalers provided by SAP in a kind of black box model. On this one, this will be end-to-end provided now by the systems by a trusted supplier. Infrastructure is tailor-made to all your needs. Multi-cloud, hybrid cloud, on-prem, whatever you need is changeable. So a lot of more configuration possible on this topic. So this is solving some problems, but it is still a burger. So you might think, where's the chips, where's the Coke, where's the melon? And now we get to this because this is then something which you can order on top of this one by the system to create your perfect RISE menu then. So how did you then in the end order at SAP and how could we then help to create the perfect menu?
Yeah, of course we are not very creative in naming our menu and our meals, so we came to what we call then the reduced scope. So we said, okay, which of our applications are really fitting to this RISE burger scheme? And then we started to limiting it to the real central systems, so the ones that are really used in all our operating companies across the world, where we can say these are the core SAP systems where we see a long-term future for. They are mostly around general ledger and around logistics applications, and those we bring into the RISE model, including all the transformational work that we have to bring across. And then, of course, we have other SAP applications where we say, okay, they are not so core to our operations, and therefore we see a non-RISE solution on the horizon where we have the same needs for application operation and also for infrastructure needs. And we could then, together with these systems, do sort of three-party agreements, say, okay, let's work together to distinguish how we do the application operations under the RISE umbrella or even under the, so to say, traditional SAP application operation model. And then the infrastructure layer, as it was provided through multiple clouds. And so that was one of the offerings that we needed, definitely. We needed a secure private cloud, and we needed then a full range of public cloud available. And that was offered through a public cloud brokerage that the system provided to us. And so that was one of the elements that we brought in, the cloud element. We brought in the sort of selection of where do you go, RISE, non-RISE, and we also then had the application operation model going forward, where we say, okay, we have one-stop shop for all our application operation application.
All right. So now since you have now ordered, let's have a quick look in the kitchen. How does it really work now? Okay, so this is now our RISE burger factory here at T-Systems, here on this topic. And now, this is how you typically order and operate your SAP system. So you're the client. In the traditional way, you have a license agreement with SAP, you're on this topic, and everything outside this topic you organize by yourself. Of course, with a direct contract, for example, to systems or other providers here, and then you organize your infrastructure play or additional services with application management or non-SAP systems on top and create your menu. This is the topic. In a RISE contract, this is all going away for the first time. So you sign a RISE contract, which is always with SAP, and then in the standard option, you can get this whole IT stack in the standard configuration, and that's it. And then you have some more burger model you can configure a little bit left and right, but not create something individual for your needs, which is for really big, complex clients here at Telekom sometimes a real big problem. So now, oh, I forgot something. Here, what you see here is there is no burger on it, right? This menu does really look good. Still it's here, barbecue and French fry, whatever, but you know the future is unfortunately burger. SAP is only selling burgers in the future, so you have to somehow think, I have to say goodbye to my, what is it here? Spirits, yeah, exactly, and then just get it onto the burger journey. This is a new construct, so SAP is still selling RISE, but if you as a client say, I don't want standard, I need to have a more tailored menu, you can request for premium supply services. And then here, the core part of this delivery will be then organized with T-Systems about a hybrid cloud model. And here we bring in here the flexibility to serve it on a private cloud instance with maybe only in Germany if you need it, BaFin compliance, GXP compliance, BSI certified, whatever you need, or in some other data centers which are already certified in other countries, or gradually move to hyperscalers in the future. This is something which you're getting then in the RISE contract. So then you get a nice burger and maybe some chips around this which you can configure more to your needs. To get then the Coke and the melon, this is now what we did for Telekom. There will be then a direct contract with the client, and then we are adding the additional services on top. For example, you might think some of the non-RISE SAP systems, because I do not put everything in RISE, it's maybe too expensive, we are operating then on the same platform for the client. So he has two contracts, but doesn't experience a difference. It's the same operating model, same service model, same SLAs here in this topics. And the same you can then do for non-SAP systems, for example, as well. So we put them a whole menu around. T-Systems is serving this and is then putting all the different things together in the backend. This is the overall idea. And now, since we have now huge success now with Deutsche Telekom, we are offering this for a lot of clients currently on the market. Okay, Jo, so what does it now mean? How did you then start the journey?
Yeah, so we signed the contract end of last year. So end of 23, we signed the contract with SAP, and we had already in place a contract with T-Systems directly for the non-RISE applications. So we currently started our migration journey, so which includes a large cloudification track and also an S4 migration track. As you can see, we are steadily reducing the number of systems as well. So if we see a functionality to not be crucial for us in the long term, we will look for retirement solutions or even migrating away from SAP to non-SAP applications. we have made an architectural review of all our 1,200 systems, so to say, and then we now have a clear target picture for each of those systems. And a portion of that will go under the RISE contracts, step by step. Some will go to the private cloud, so that's the magenta part in the middle, and then the blue part is we go to a Google Cloud platform. That's our selected choice for SAP applications. And then, if you see the steps that we are taking now is, so the cloudification track, we get the full service from these systems, both in the RISE elements and in the non-RISE, which we also cloudify, because we want to have flexibility on our infrastructure costs. And we want to make sure that we don't continue to reinvest in extending legacy hardware or on-prem hardware going forward. So we want to make flexibilization of our cost base as much as possible. If we then look at what we learned from that journey in the beginning, so to say, and I think that's the sort of key points that we put forward. And so for us, as Deutsche Telekom, the one thing we didn't have in 21, which we now have since 23, is flexibility. We want to have flexibility of choice. If you look at our strategy in the past as PT, we were a company I would call kick the can down the road. So we would decide as late as possible and as little as possible when it came to our SAP landscape. So we would not migrate, upgrade until we really had to. Now we change it around and we say, okay, we see now the flexibility of choice, and we have decided that we will now go on this journey until 2030 to really come into a future-proof landscape. If we wouldn't have had that flexibility of choice to either work in RISE or work on direct relationship with these systems where we believe RISE is not relevant, then we wouldn't have gone for the RISE model. The second thing, and I think that's for us was the crucial change, the ecosystem. You need to have it. If you only talk to SAP, you can't move the needle in our eyes. So we took a partnership, of course, with these systems, and there is some in-house relationship, but it's also at arm's length. We also had Accenture around the table who do a lot of the application development in the meantime for us. And so we had a real four-party table where every migration, every cloudification, every upgrade, update is now sort of evaluated in an architectural form, and we really drive to standardization and making our quality and our install base as secure as possible. If we would be only one-on-one relationships, this model would not have worked, because it's not in the beginning so clear to say this is left SAP responsibility and this is right AT systems responsibility. Which brings me then to the third learning. It's a huge effort to plan an estate, but it really pays off. So you need to go into a realistic and holistic planning exercise. You really need to go down to your SID level and really say which ones do you want to take where? Which functionality do you want to integrate into one system, and which system do you want to keep separate? And is always SAP the right solution? As said, we found that especially around the general ledger and the logistics systems, for us, logistics for us as a network provider is mainly around the assets in our network. Those are two core applications where we see SAP playing a very strong role. Of course, we cloudified, as said, we want to get away from this constant having to renew our on-prem hardware base, so we want to move into the cloud and flexible this cost. We also see a huge increase of data needs, and this multi-hybrid cloud, so both having a public cloud and a private cloud for data security, privacy reasons, was for us one of the prerequisites to be at all possible to go into a RISE contract or a RISE model with a software as a service. I've now spent roughly half a year with SAP and these systems working on introducing the first applications to the RISE model. And although the offering is already on the market since 3 years, we still find a lot of new things. Or at least we're so unique that it then is a new thing. Around disaster recovery, high availability as one of the examples. And you need this connection to SAP and to these systems, in our case, to really solve these questions, because I'm not a technical expert on anybody. We brought in some architects on our own side to help with the discussions, but this is really one of the key learnings that is, although it's out there in the market for 3 years, and we know how a burger should be made, it is still a lot of different things that surprise us every day. What I also learned from SAP and from all their conferences, it will not go away. RISE is here to stay, and it's the model of choice for them. It's them to the cloud. It will mean that they will have recurring service revenues, and they will continue to push that product, that solution forward on a very high scale.
All right. Okay, so thank you. So overall summary, I was finally successful to convince Telekom to go to this model. The device is not going away. That this is now a strategy of SAP, and you better adopt early, then you are still more in the ability to create something rather than being a laggard and you have to follow and just swallow the maybe bad burger which is served. So overall, thank you for listening to us. So we as T-Systems, of course, is just final overview of our nice, tasty ingredients which we are now able to serve to you. RISE, so everything around private cloud instance with additional services is pretty unique. It's only offered by T-Systems here to the market. So if you do not only like or need standard burgers, you need to have a trusted partner help you to create the optimal roadmap on S4, on cloudification, on your RISE journey. We have a lot of experience, and we have the right partnership, and we can help you and advise you on this journey. Thank you very much.